Minister Vergara, welcome to the show. You studied at the University of California, Berkeley. How did your time in the United States shape your economic view?
Aplicada a la política económica, porque uno podría hacer también hacer un doctorado en economía.
I pursued an education based on economic policies. That really helped me, especially when I came back to Uruguay. At the time, my country was starting the process of regulating public services, something I had learned in my PhD program. So in 2001, I was part of the first Telecommunications Regulatory Commission. After that, I became Vice Minister of Economic Affairs, and later I was named President of the Central Bank. Now I am the Minister of Economy and Finances.
Y bueno, y ahora desde diciembre, Ministro de Economía y Finanzas.
Uruguay's economy is in great shape. How did it bounce back from the last economic crisis?
Que tuvo su epicentro en el sistema bancario.
In 2001 and 2003, we did experience a very large economic crisis centered on our banking system. This was influenced greatly by the economic crisis in neighboring Argentina. Back then, not only banks were affected with a massive run on cash, but also a major crisis in our production capacities, hitting our social system hard. The unemployment rate went up 20%, the poverty level went up 40%. This occurred even though historically Uruguay had healthy social indicators by Latin American standards.
De buenos indicadores sociales en el contexto latinoamericano.
What lessons did Uruguay take from that crisis to get to the stable economy it has today?
Desde el año 2004-2005 para aquí, el panorama ha cambiado mucho. Creemos haber tomado en buena medida las lecciones de la crisis también.
We'd like to think we've learned lessons from the past. Uruguay has a very different outlook since 2004. We have been consistent with our economic policies, linking them to social policies. In the last decade, the Uruguayan economy has been growing consistently. We've been breaking trade records every year, especially with China. China is now one of the major buyers of Latin American products, and we've reduced the unemployment rate to 6% from 20% a decade ago. So the outlook has changed. We applied consistent measures to improve our productivity and also improve our social indicators. In our view, social and economic policies must be cohesive.
Porque concebimos las políticas económicas y sociales como integradas.
Well, some of Uruguay's neighbors aren't as stable financially, with difficulties building up in the region. How can Uruguay keep itself safe?
Bien, en primer lugar, hablábamos de que tuvimos una estrategia de mitigación.
Today, we have a very solid and well-regulated banking and finance system. We're exporting our products at international prices that are high, so we benefit from a new wave of high prices on products. Brazil is one of our major trade partners, but we only export commodities to them, and we have around 140 other countries buying our commodities. Uruguay has been mitigating risk by diversifying what it produces and exports. So when one country like Brazil reduces their demands, we can strategically reorient these exports to other markets.
No veríamos mayores dificultades en reorientar esas exportaciones hacia otros mercados.
Talk to us about Uruguay's commercial relationship with Argentina.
Las relaciones con Argentina son un poco distintas. Argentina ya no es.
The commercial relations with Argentina are a little different. Argentina is not one of our major commercial partners anymore. Our trade with Argentina represents only 4% of our global exports. Another vital connection with Argentina's economy was the banking system. 40% of our bank deposits were from Argentinians. Today, it is less than 9%. Our banking system is well regulated and solid. Argentina has been implementing some economic measures that are affecting us directly, like restrictions on exports, limited access to dollars, and some measures that have affected our trade ports. But with all that, we haven't stopped our growth. We will be growing around 3%, so this is a good indicator.
Y que no impide que la economía uruguaya siga creciendo a tasas razonables.
The legalization of cannabis or marijuana put Uruguay on the map. And when the selling of it gets implemented, will the income from it be important to the nation's economy?
No. No, en realidad nuestra motivación para esta política.
No, it won't be. Our motivation to regulate the production of cannabis is purely to fight drug trafficking and influence the public to avoid the use and abuse of drugs. But we're at the beginning of the regulation process, so we don't have a clear idea what the outcome will be. Either way, we didn't think of the legalization as a way to generate profits. Our strategy is to try to influence the drug market and to change their business by making cannabis cheap so they won't profit.
A precios bajos, o sea, no hay una intención de beneficio económico en esta política.
Minister Vergara, thank you so much for your time and insight.